Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. We have comics news today, of course, and I am Chester C. Busby III, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to see everybody in here. Of course, I see Roger Heller in here, and I see Oscar Fair Tosspot as well. Hello, guys. Thank you for coming in, and of course, hit that share button and let all your family and friends know what's going on, so we can get more people in here. But as usual, keep in mind that we do have our links down below, mainly to our FanSpeak page. We'd love to come over and join that. We are growing there, and that's really cool. And of course, if you want to be on the show or you'd like to be on the fan edition of Join a Quarter, use my contacts down below to say hi, and we'll get you into that process. But of course, today we're going to be jumping in the news. But the first thing I want to do is come over and say hello to my panel. So I will start with the chairman of the board himself, Mr. DeWolf. Hello, sir.
Why, hello, Chester. It's so cool to be around in this day and age with all of these comics and characters and things going on. And movies, MCU movies. Do you know that we're within a month of the end game?
I do. I do. Looking forward
And
to
we
it.
haven't been talking about it. It's insane.
It is. And to be honest with you, they've been kind of light on it. They put a couple of trailers out, but they're not really driving it down our throats. And I guess it's simply because they don't have to. Everybody knows it's
It's
coming. Yeah.
and it's also fake. It's it's a little bit hard for me to get excited about trailers because of the way that they have been doing some of the past trailers of the other movies,
Uh-huh.
and basically they're going to tell you that we're not going to give you information in the trailers. They're going to make stuff up, so it's there to get you excited but not actually give you any information about the story.
But I am looking forward to it though. It's definitely we're gonna go check that out. My wife and I, we only go to a couple movies a year over here because it's ridiculously expensive. I hear you guys over there talking about your prices and movies. It's like, oh, it's so expensive. You don't understand pain. The Japanese is ridiculous. You're spending $100. You want to go out to movies, easy, right? So we only go.
Well,
Yeah.
if you get the popcorn and the Coke, you do. I mean, you spend wow. I mean, let's see, my last ticket was $7, and the a Coke is 4 and the popcorn's 5, so that's more than the actual movie itself.
Yeah, no, it is.
Crazy.
I mean, and it is crazy. And but the good thing for me is my wife is turning 50 next month. Uh-oh, hope she's not listening. But because she is, our ticket prices get cut in half. So maybe we go to more movies, at least double, I would think. But we're definitely going to go check that out. And I don't know what else we're going to watch this year, but we usually try to save it for the big budget stuff. But I think it's part of the pricing, and also Netflix and stuff is why the movie theaters are only really playing the big banger CG, blockbuster type movies. Because, one thing I've been hearing a lot of complaining about from reviewers is those kind of mid-level movies or those more drama or acting driven movies are not making any money at all. And they've kind of disappeared from the cinema. But I think, the fact that we have Netflix and things like that, I think that's a good venue for them. They should stick over there, stay out of the cinema, actually, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about that, but it is interesting how things have completely changed from when I was a kid as far as
Oh
what
yeah.
you did in the cinema.
Well, yeah. And the cool places now actually have dinner where you can actually you sit down. There's kind of like a table in front of you. You can order. So there are some new things happening in cinema. I hope in cinema they change a few things, still going that direction, especially as far as the drinks and the popcorn go. But
Yeah.
there's a lot more things coming, I think, in the cinema world because they're going to have to change things up and offer different things, products and services available, especially with all the streaming services and stuff.
Yeah, no, but I think there's a way for it to all be cool. And what do you think about this, George?
I'm still trying to get over the fact that you're paying like $100. I
Yeah,
cannot
it's expensive.
believe that just it's making my head spin. It's light. I mean, the last movie I actually went to see in the theater is Godzilla. Everything else after that has been waiting for it to come on streaming service like Netflix and stuff.
Yeah, it's
It
got
was it wasn't a pleasant it wasn't a pleasant experience. There was a rude gentleman that had his leg crossed, and the sole of his feet was brushing up against my wife's knee. I had to actually, nudge him, and say, dude, put your foot down.
Yeah, so that there you go. You fixed it.
I think he's talking about the experience
Oh, I
that
see.
yeah. It
Yeah,
not only was, yeah.
it was a weak experience. And now that we have, such wonderful technology that we can bring into the house, like a
That's
big
true.
screen TV, the sound system, and all that stuff, in the comfort of your own home, sitting on the couch, relaxing and eating and pausing and eating some more, and picking up the phone and talking to your buddy, and then continuing your show. It, you know, you, the movie is your bitch.
Oh, wow.
It,
All right then.
it's
Ding
it,
indeed.
Ding ding.
But I actually enjoy being surrounded by people. I enjoy the experience of that. I mean, when someone does stupid around something around you, you just simply leer death at them, and they stop doing it. But in general, I kind of appreciate the community experience of a cinema, actually. But yeah, no, Netflix certainly has, Hulu or whatever. It has its advantages for sure, and they're improving. Netflix puts out a lot of crap, but the crap is getting slightly better. I'd say, quarter to quarter. So, in time, I think Netflix will probably be putting out some super stellar content as they're building up their experience and their understanding and stuff. So. But we'll see. What do you think about this topic here, Denali? We kind of started off with a topic instead of how's the weather, but I think it's cool.
No, I like these type of topics because how's the weather is kind of boring.
It is.
Um, well, I mean, I think that's the huge next fight. I mean, Netflix knows that they have to produce
Yeah.
quality shows because you have Disney buying up the studios left and right and monopolizing, and all these studios are going to go with the streaming services.
Hmm.
That's why you have basically uh, Steven Spielberg kind of throwing shade at the streaming sites, saying
Yeah.
that you can't win awards. If your movies are is streaming, a movie is a movie. Regardless of the medium it's going, it's just an excuse. You know, that's like pioneering work that you guys, when you were youth, did. So the rebellious kids have now become the establishment, which is kind of hilarious.
It is, and of course, Spielberg is, he deserves the accolades he has. But I notice here that Oscar Tospots is talking about dinner and beer Alamo Draft House flicks. Yeah, I see. I've never been to one, but I've heard about them. Just like DeWolf had mentioned, it sounds fun. I wish they had something like that here. It would make the cost more absorbable. Mike Angerhauser's in here, and he says, "Hey, Chester." Well, hello, Mike. Nice to see you, dude. But yeah, actually, I had yesterday with my family because my daughter is back for a little bit of spring break here. Her job starts fully on Monday, actually. So just coming to say hi, and my son is coming in today for a weekend before he starts back to school. So I kind of got my family around me again here for a few days. And I was last night we were watching just shows talking about the Muppet Show and Jim Henson in particular, and I had forgotten how absolutely awesome that show was. I mean, when you think about some of the great shows in TV history, I mean, the Muppet Show not only was it interesting and different, that show was really funny. I mean, the comedy writing in that was top notch. And I mean, such to the point you don't see very much these days. I mean, I watched a little bit of that Modern Family. My family did, and it had its moments. It had its
Yeah.
moments. But you don't see that level of quality writing these days. And yeah, the Muppet Show was so killer. I'm really happy and of course, my kids have fond memories because I certainly raised them on things like that. You want to take things from your past that are worthy of giving to your children, and that was one of them. Fraggle Rock, dude. Yes, dude. Fraggle Rock was awesome. Jim Henson in general was awesome. I think we forget. I mean, it was shocking. His death was shocking. I remember it very clearly. But that dude he changed the world. I mean, there's a lot of directors who do fun things, but that dude changed the world. I mean, come on, Sesame Street,
Yeah.
right? I mean, he was the inception of that, right? As well as many other things just for fun, like Dark Crystal, what have you. But yeah, we had a real fun time last night, just enjoying Muppet Show snippets and stuff like that. It's just hilarious. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the thing about that too, it was a variety show. So you had some comedy stuff, and then you had on real people.
Hmm.
I mean, like Liberace,
Yeah.
and they would come on Kiss.
Yep.
I think
Vincent
I was
Price,
Kiss.
Alice Cooper, dude.
Alice Cooper
Yeah.
would come on the Muppet Show, and then they would throw in jokes,
Yeah.
and then you had like Saturday Night Live type bits with the pigs in space,
Hmm.
and then they had their own hecklers. I mean, that is just
Yeah.
it. Just is so good. It would be nice to see something like that again. I guess America's Got Talent is the only variety show we have nowadays, and for some reason they think they need to string us along on weird drama
Yeah.
when all we want is a couple little bits because our lives are busy.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of the writers today kind of miss the point of just comedy for relaxation. Instead of having to make some serious, political commentary, which we see all the time, just have fun, right? I mean, just have fun. And that's one of the reasons why they failed with many of the more modern takes on the Muppet Show is because they don't get it, right? The fact that
Yeah.
Piggy and and Kermit are together, it is not something you take and then create a love triangle like they did on that stupid show and, ooh, we're going to make it serious. No, dude. The joke is that the frog and the pig are together. That's the joke. Done,
Yeah.
right?
Right. And
Um,
and the frog is an actual diva.
yeah, the pig is a diva. Yeah.
No, the frog is. If
Well,
you look at
sometimes.
Kermit, he's actually the diva. The Miss Piggy thinks she's a diva, but Kermit throws the tantrums, gets angry at everybody, shouts at everybody,
Well,
and
because they're a bunch
he
of idiots.
yeah. But he ends up being the diva
Yeah.
of it. Miss Piggy's like diva light
Yeah.
kind of deal.
Yeah, no, and everyone seems to be agreeing here. Mike says that Muppet Show was great. The new Muppet Show was 30 Rock. Yeah, they don't get it. These days, they just don't get it. They don't understand the simplicity of a thing. Eric says definitely that was the best damn show. Great memories. Yeah, it was I had forgotten how great it is, and watching that again last night and stuff, it really makes me. It puts the Muppet Show in my list of top shows. I mean, to be fair, I mean, All in the Family, killer show, MASH, The Muppet Show, The Game of Thrones. I mean, even this one is more modern, but that's really good TV. I think they put way too much nudity in there for no reason. I mean, especially seeing there's only one or two moments
Yeah.
that you actually need it. For the story, but whatever. Swedish Chef is the bomb. Yes, he was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Roger Hellis says, to me, Jim Henson was creativity and imagination in motion. That was childlike. Those are my fond memories of Jim Henson. Yeah, no, Jim Henson, he's an important figure. I mean, in many ways, he's kind of almost. I don't know if he's quite the icon that Stan Lee was, but they're in the same boat, as far as changing the world and interacting. I mean, you just can't even account for how many children's lives that Jim Henson changed with the creation of just Sesame Street, right? And it's worldwide. I mean, these kids over here in Japan, my wife and my kids as well, they grew up watching Sesame Street here in Japan, right? Which is the weird thing, right? Because they're teaching you how to English and math, but they watched it here, so it's worldwide. Yeah, Beaker and Bunsen, yeah, dude. Yeah, oh, I feel so bad for him, but it was a perfect show. It just pigs in space, and I loved Rolf. And watching some of the things last night, I learned stuff I didn't know about Jim Henson. He came right out of high school and started being a puppeteer. And his first real big success was Rolf, actually, the dog. The piano playing dog. That was his big hit, and that's how everyone in America knew him. And then with that success, he went on and he created things like Sesame Street. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That
I
was
think
cool.
when he started, didn't he play the piano? He'd start singing, and then he'd start howling at himself.
They did it. They know what I don't know. What I saw on this the kind of documentary thing. He was sitting behind a wall, and there was a doctor who would talk to him, and Henson was so funny with the Rolf character that the doctor actor guy kept laughing when he wasn't supposed to. This is back, kind of Carol Burnett and that kind of
Oh
show where
yeah,
They tried not to laugh, but they usually did. That kind of variety show setting. So I don't know beyond that. I just saw the documentary, but it looked hilarious. I mean, I love Ralph anyway. He's awesome. So,
And if you like Muppets,
mm,
what you really should do is check out Joe King on Indiegogo and by George right here, because
yeah,
I love the look of his characters. Not only do they look like Muppets in some sense, but in another, they look like other crewmen of the ship look like robotic kind of Muppets.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. I mean, look at all the memories that are coming out in here in the chat, though, man. They got Mike is talking about Dr. Teeth. Yeah, baby.
no,
Oscar Fair, he's talking about as a kid, wanted to be Fozzie. Now I'm Stadler.
Walk, waka, waka, waka.
so
Yeah.
was that
Hey,
an
look at that.
inspiration,
I
George?
gotta. Hey, what's that?
Was that an inspiration for your characters?
Oh heck yeah! All that stuff, and everything. Uh, I was thoroughly inspired by the '60s Spider-Man, the '60s Super Friends shorts, Wile E. Coyote, all that stuff.
Sure.
It all stuck to me. It stuck to me, and it never left. Even when I started collecting comics, and they were dark and gritty, eventually, I just looked for that humor. I look for that humor every day in my text messaging to people,
Yeah.
in my communication to people. It's just who I am. I try to make funny of everything I come across, except serious things like death and taxes.
Yeah,
I
of
hate
course.
those.
They hate those things, yeah. But the now you're getting into Looney Tunes though, and that's just pure genius. I mean, the Looney Tunes creations. I mean, talk about finding that perfect middle ground between children's entertainment and adults entertainment. I mean, that
Yes,
was masterwork skill over there with Looney
yes,
Tunes.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. And I studied that stuff. I studied the original laser discs of the unedited raw cartoons, no SJW editing on it. And what I discovered was the Roadrunner Coyote cartoons specifically. Each vignette, each story is only 18 seconds long, and that's including the credits. Can you just imagine that? If you ever have a chance to go look at one of those cartoons, look at your watch or do a timer test.
Tex Avery.
Those,
Yeah,
those cartoons are 18 seconds. In those 18 seconds, Chuck Jones and his brilliant team were able to put together such humor, such story, such immense action. You're sitting there going like, is it a half hour already? No, it was 18 seconds.
yeah. No, it's
yeah.
those guys, and it really tells a lot because a lot of the stuff we see these days is really subpar in quality. And maybe it's just because there's so much. Maybe there's just too much today, and the little gems that have to rise to the top. It's a little harder to see. Maybe that's it. I do like what Mike Angerhauser has to say. He says, "If you like puppets, check out Black Forest on Indiegogo." Yeah. If one of my moderators, go ahead and throw up everybody's links, please, and definitely throw up Mike's as well. I don't know who's in here moderating today, but if someone could get on that, please.
Also, I'd like to say hi to Eric N. Boyd. He did a call out to me. Hello, Eric. How you doing? Okay, sorry. Continue.
Oh, no, no. I see we got
No,
March Hare in here as well. But yeah, no, wow, great memories, man. Great memory. We haven't even got to what we're supposed to be doing yet, man. But these just really good things, and it kind of makes me sad these days. I mean, think about children's entertainment today. I mean, what's good right now? I mean, honestly,
I'm
it's
at
to
a
be
loss.
honest,
I'm at a loss. Yeah, I mean, it's just
well,
like
we don't watch anymore. But I mean, I don't have any small kids, but I remember that a lot of the shows that they have wasn't really good. Um,
no, yeah, no, definitely not.
Oh, here's something interesting I came across because since we're on this topic.
mhm.
I've been watching opening um, what do you call credits opening
Oh,
jingles of
Yeah,
the '80s cartoons.
right.
There's a YouTube channel out there that actually collected all the '80s cartoons and strung it into one to a series of I don't know 4 or 5 1 hour segments, and then just sit there and play. And I'm watching all these '80 cartoons opening credits. It was amazing, and they have the '90s too. But
Yeah.
this guy really nailed it because I started looking at all this stuff, and I'm going like, oh my god, I remember that. I remember the different GI Joe openings
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
because they all had the same jingle or same rhyme scheme. Da da
Yeah.
da 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 da, or Captain Planet,
Oh
or
God, don't you dare.
but you hear the same rhythm. They
Yeah,
all
no, I
get
know what you're saying. Yeah.
the same rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah, rocking stuff. Actually, with my kids, during their generation of stuff, of course, I introduced them to things like the Muppet shows and stuff
Hmm.
like that. But they did have a few good things. They had Dexter's Lab and Samurai Jack and Powerpuff Girls and stuff like that. And those are pretty. The art quality was nowhere near what it used to be, but they were well done. The stories were good, right? And actually, there was one series during their childhood that it's one of the best animation I've ever seen in my life. Actually, it was the Avatar: The Last Airbender. That was really
Oh,
good. That was really
yeah,
well done.
that was amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, where is what I'm saying is these days, where is that? Where is this quality writing, quality comedy? All I see is this insanity that goes on and then tries to teach some kind of political message. I don't get it. Why is the work efforts were so low? It's hard. Well, hasn't it always been? I don't understand what would be different. I would think with all these digital tools you have, things would be better. Yeah, and you're
Um,
right, March Hare. Samurai Jack was awesome, and I love that they did a season 6. I'm not happy how they ended it, but it started off like gangbusters, man.
I think it's because they're dealing with low costs, and they're not going for original stories. Meaning they are always using IPs, and the people that are in charge of these IPs
Mhm.
are just making fanfics things of the franchises. That's why it sucks.
Yeah,
I
but
It's
you
think
just
could do
it's
that and do it with quality, though. I mean, you could do
no
that with
no
quality.
no no. I mean, well, let me give you an example of a current franchise that it's not really particular to my care, but it's part of the He-Man story, which is She-Ra.
Hmm.
The showrunner said, I absolutely know nothing about She-Ra except she was a toy, and I made story up with my other toys, and now I get to write
Sure.
that story. And she knows nothing about the lore. She doesn't respect the lore. She's just doing her fanfic
Oh
without
well,
any
that's
care.
a dyke lit lesbian show. What's I mean, what I mean is, of course, this has become political. That's kind of my point. They're not
Right.
telling good stories. They're just, she's a lesbian, yay, and that's it. That's the end of her victory
Yeah.
for
What
making
what
it.
But what I'm saying is it's a fan fiction, a licensed official fan fiction of what it is. We used to have professionals who would come in and say, these are, here's the legacy, here's the characters, here's what they do. There's a Bible.
Oh
When
yeah,
you're talking about Tex Avery and you're talking about the Roadrunners, they actually wrote to every, director, writer. These are the rules of these characters that they can or cannot do. And when I think they talked to him about Space Jam, they said, I don't believe that would be a good movie because I could finish the movie in 6 minutes and only need Bugs Bunny. He didn't need Michael Jordan to do all that stuff, kind of deal.
yeah, yeah.
So, so it becomes a testament of, respecting, if you're using existing property, respecting the properties. And if you're not going to
That's true.
respect it, then you have no business utilizing, or you're not being original. And
Yeah,
studios don't want to, take the risk on original material because it costs and it might not get paid back. Two, they'll factor in the nostalgia of, older fans say, hey, we're coming here, we're going to bring our kids here and we're going to watch it. And three, low cost. And that's always going to be the bottom drive, and that's why we get really subpar quality.
true.
And here's a perfect example. You have Lucasfilm with Star Wars Clone Wars. high quality animation that won a war. Post Disney, they cut the animation quality down, and now you have Star Wars Rebels, which kind of was still in that transitional period because you still saw some quality, to Resistance, which is a generic,
Political
story that could,
statement.
yeah,
That's a
that you could
shame.
do.
Yeah, it is. And the thing with She-Ra, which we had mentioned at the beginning of this,
Mhm.
I think us the guys on principle, we understand that it sucks what they're doing, but man, they really pissed off the women from that era, because I mean that was one of their characters, and they really twisted it hard. They don't care, but once again, we've mentioned before that it's not we always seem to think it's focused on man hating, but in the end, it's really about hating women. Is really what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
And
Um,
here's something interesting regarding the quality of the shows. You can trace it right back to the moment when they started using Flash program to do the animation
yeah,
in the 1999 era at time. As soon as they did that, the level of quality dropped like a rock.
now these guys in here are mentioning some other really good shows that came out in the '90s, like the Batman animated series that was killer. Another one that was really really good was DuckTales. I mean, not
Woohoo!
necessarily for everybody, but that was
Yeah,
really well done show. And there were some good things there. But now what do we have? We have Marvel Rising. I mean, yay.
which
Um,
is now the new future of Marvel.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Oh,
Do you know Brad made me read Marvel Rising issue number one? God, I could have reached
He,
through the internet and killed him.
you
he,
know
he
what
needs to
really
give
happened?
he needs to give you a free copy of Handyman. That's what he needs to do
Yeah,
to make it
yeah.
up.
No, the pain. Yeah.
You know what really happened in the '90s, though. That something you're talking about. You said that it's not that they don't like men; it's that they don't like women.
Yeah, it's
Well,
real.
it's not even that. It's I want to say it's good character, good moral character is what they don't like. But and something that happened in the '90s though was grit, right? So Spawn came out,
Yeah.
and you had more people like Wolverine and Batman. They became darker and they became more gritty, and that happened. And they're also going against that concept. Interestingly enough, it's dirty, it's grit, it's real life. We don't like real life anymore, and we don't like real life, especially if it also comes into contact with what you have to do with real moral character and sound judgment to get through those hard, rough, gritty times. Instead, they want to flower everything up, make everything kind of jello, easy to get through, and you also don't have to worry about whether you're doing something right in that moment and judge yourself right or wrong. You can just sort of malaise your way through it. That's
Yeah.
the difference between then and now.
It's true, and that's why they're doing their best to destroy Superman and making Batman a killer, and that's why they're so desperate to do it because they want to ruin and mar everything. Because
Yeah.
good nature, good things, wholesome ideas, righteousness, these are evil things to them for some reason. I don't understand how their brain works, but it's quite obvious that it's anathema to them.
Well, wasn't that famous saying, "Evil prevails when good men do nothing"?
Yes.
Yep.
That
Yep.
is true. That is true.
So and
Well, we're
so
half
we're
we're halfway through our show, guys, and we haven't even talked about the news at all. But I don't
Yeah.
care. Actually, this is a great conversation, and talking
yeah.
about animation of the
With
past and present. But
with
we
that
should
rant
we
though in can, I've got to go.
all right later, dude.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
But
Later.
let's go ahead and move over to our news, and we'll say goodbye to DeWolf as he goes takes care of his family as usual. And we will go ahead and start the news. Here we go.
All right. First, you have to share, so it's
Oh,
gonna be
that's
that
right. I'm
moment
sorry. I'm
delayed.
sorry. I'm sorry. I was too busy talking about other stuff. I got to come over here and do my job. My God. All right.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chester.
Now they've completely changed this over here, and it's used to have imagery. Now I have to come and kind of find it. Here we go. There it is. All right.
All
All right.
right.
Go ahead.
So from comicbookmovie.com, they're talking about the upcoming Joker, and they're saying Joker is described as a character study of a mentally ill person that becomes a Joker by star Mac Moron. Moron. Uh,
Unfortunate.
and
Mm.
yeah, so basically, it's like we're gonna do something serious here. We're gonna see the tragedy of mental illness
Mhm.
and how this mental illness will affect, this individual into becoming the Joker
Once
kind of
again,
deal.
missing the point. The bad guy is the bad guy because he's the bad guy. We don't need to understand the bad guy. We don't need to sympathize with the bad guy. We don't have to make the bad guy the good guy. He's just the bad guy. It's just like the Piggy and Kermit thing. It's just the simple joke that a pig and a frog are together. That's it.
That's right. That's right.
They
If you have
can't
to
get it.
explain it, you've already lost it.
Yeah. And it just this headline alone, it just no, 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 no. Not interested at all. That's not. I don't want to see that movie at all. I want the Joker to be the Joker. I'm not interested in this some introspective into the horribleness of his past that has caused to create him to be a bad guy, but he could be redeemed. No,
But
no,
that's what we're going to be looking at.
obviously.
That's yeah, because they show him every picture that show him before the Joker. He's a depressed guy, so he's going to have some depression. Um, and then there's going to be some traumatic event that's going to push him over the edge, where he snaps and he's like, "I don't care anymore," and it's going to be attributed to, hey, if you guys have mental illness, it's okay. We understand that you went crazy and murder a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a nonsense thing. They totally misunderstand, and then try to constantly trying these days recently to try to put an origin on the Joker. And it's like, don't you realize, why it has been 70 years and we've never had an origin of the Joker? Don't you understand? There's a reason for that. The
Right.
mystery of of Joker is part of his appeal. We don't need to know where he comes from or why. It's totally you're killing the character in doing it. And I also would like to make a comment here with Joaquin Phoenix, who is a really solid actor. But look how far he has come since Space Camp. I don't know if you guys remember he was in Space Camp,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Yeah.
He a little shit kid in Space Camp, and look where he is now.
Mhm.
Unbelievable. But yeah, I don't know, George. You got any comment on this insanity?
Yeah, they don't have to. They don't need to do this origin story. They just make a Joker story. He already exists as a character, and just run with it. Make Batman a specter in the story, meaning that as the Joker tries to pull off his evilness, you get the
Mm,
Batman coming in and out of his life, making trouble for him, making his life difficult. That in itself would be a terrific story, just alone.
it
Trying
would
to
be.
trying to
It would
try,
be
trying
kind
to
of cool. Yeah,
yeah, trying to
and
pin an origin story to something like this. It's the same failure that they did with Wolverine. We did not need to know Wolverine's history. He was just awesome.
it's true. It is true. But they can't resist that. They can't help themselves. But yeah, no, every bit of information that comes out on this makes me less and less interested in it, which is too bad because we know that with Joaquin Phoenix attached, it's going to be a good foot forward effort. We know that. This dude takes his business seriously, and he's got to do the best he can with what he's given. But I'm just not interested. Nick says it vexes me. I am terribly vexed. Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, good call. I like that movie a lot. That was pull back to Gladiator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is still awesome. Yeah, he is. Yeah. All right. Well, I know there's not much to say about that
Yeah.
beyond that. It's just kind of beating a dead horse, but it's
Pretty
just
much.
unfortunate where they're going with this. It really is. But now, this one right here. Go ahead and introduce this one.
What does Angela Jolie casting reveal about the Eternals? That she
That
needs a boost in her career?
or that death is warmed over.
But she's currently in talks to join the Eternals
I mean, look at her. She's
movie.
terrifying, dude. Look at her. It's like eat a damn hamburger, lady. I'm sure she's one of these vegan vegetarian types, right? I mean, look at her. I mean, God, lady. And I don't know. Angelina, she's her father is cool. I like her dad, even though he is a weirdo. But I like him as an actor. She was a creepy goth chick that walked around with a vial of blood around her neck. She's just a weird creep kid. right? And then she
Right.
marries Brad Pitt, and some reason she's supposed to be some kind of Hollywood elite. So I'm kind of wondering who she slept with to get that, because I've seen some of her movies. She's not a good actress at all. She's really subpar. I've never seen her do anything actually good. But yet she's supposed to be this Hollywood elite. And it's like, why do I have to keep seeing this woman? And every time I see her, she becomes more Skeletor like. I mean, look at that. It's Skeletor. It's death warmed over, this lady. And I don't really know much about her personally, although I'm sure she's Me Too, SJW to the ninth degree from the few things I have seen. But I don't really care about any of that stuff, actually. I just don't understand why I have to keep having her in my face because she sucks. I really don't understand.
Because for whatever unexplained reason, well, no, I do know, but it's no longer a large factor due to her current age. She brings tickets, and then
I
she
don't know
brings
why.
butts in the seats
Yeah, I
because
don't know
she
why.
was because when she was younger, even if she was that creepy goth child, you still wanted to hit that hit
Oh
that
no, she
hard.
was hottie. Oh, she definitely was a
Yeah,
hottie. That's without
yeah,
question. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not really the dude that's into the big giant lips and stuff, but I get it. And she's definitely was a hottie. She's just a weird, creepy, Satanistic type chick. And I don't, whatever. But it is kind of interesting thing here. Erica Boyd says, "Lol, Brad Pitt has a bag full of crazy and a tribe of kids with that one." And the thing is, most people have a different image of Brad, but yet he married her and stayed with her for a long time. So that tells you a little bit of something about Brad. But you know the interesting thing with all those kids, if you go back and watch every time you see them in an airport or walking along with those kids, which there are many, many, right? Never did I ever once see her holding one or holding the hand of one or taking care of him. It's always Brad that had him into a couple of kids in arms or wiping faces or dealing with the kids. Brad was always the one loving and taking care of the kids. I've never seen her show 1 ounce of love to those children at all.
You
Seriously.
know what? Yeah,
My wife
he's
noticed that too, and she's a mother.
yeah. No, he's a bit crazy because one of the reasons why he divorced his first wife, because remember he married Jennifer Aniston, is because she was boring.
Well, she didn't want to have kids. I think is what it came down to. She didn't want to have kids, and he wanted
Hmm.
kids, and he got a whole bunch of them. And now he can't see
Yeah,
them because she lied about him doing this or that because she's a bitch, right?
yeah.
Jeez, Chester, don't hold back. What are you
I'm
trying
not
to
going to
say?
hold back. I do not like Angelina Jolie. She's not a good human, dude. She's evil. She's evil. Pay attention what this woman does. This is an evil human being. This is one of the toxicity of Hollywood. We talk about all the idiots in Hollywood, and we see things like, for instance, Scarlett Johansson, and she'll make some little group statement in some advertisement against Trump or something like that, but you can tell her heart's not in it, right? She's just kind of doing what she has to do. She's virtue signaling because if she wants to work, she needs to. This right here is a full-on member of evil, and I don't care. I don't want to
That,
see her. I don't
that
want her involved in anything.
that's why she was so perfect for Maleficent.
Maybe, maybe.
Maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. She's joining the Eternals, so yay.
Yeah, I totally missed that
Another,
point. I just saw her face and got angry.
yeah. So that bodes well for the future of the MCU.
Hmm.
But we already see the warnings. We already see the warning sign. Oh,
Yeah. No,
oh no.
it is what it is. But
Yeah,
we're going to continue this dive into insanity again.
yeah.
Go
Chris
ahead, Ginger.
Evans might. Chris Evans might cut ties with Tom Brady for Trump support, willing to alienate fans. I mean,
Mm, mm.
you know, it's okay. It's okay. I made
Yeah,
my
that's fine.
peace.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. We've been talking about Brie Larson lately because, well, she's a
Yeah.
nasty thing, and she's brought a lot of attention to herself. But let's not forget that Chris Evans is actually more insane than her, right? Now,
Yes.
his way of doing it is a little more generic and less focused. True. He actually does his job really well, where she doesn't. So there's another point. But don't forget that this is an absolutely insane SJW right here, right in front of you. Chris Evans, right? And
and
just look at the things he says. They've lost their damn mind. He's basically
and
Cortez in a blue suit.
and you know what's striking, and it's Kevin Feige is cheering him all the way. He's saying, "You're very noble, very honorable. You're just like Captain America." And I don't think Captain America would be that.
No,
He
Captain
he
America
he,
wouldn't
he
do that at all. No.
yeah. Color me weird, but I don't know.
Okay, now I'm going to read me a Donald Trump thing here, which is the first time actually, but for us to do this here. But I just feel like I need to read a Donald Trump tweet. Wow, ratings for the Morning Joe, which were really bad in the first place, just tanked with the release of the Mueller report. Likewise, other shows on MSNBC and CNN have gone down as much as 50%. Just shows fake news never wins. Thanks, Donald. Yeah, that Mueller report must have just absolutely destroyed those people. Of course, it's probably just going to make them more insane, I think. But yeah. Duh.
Did you hear the backstory on the Mueller report? Apparently, it was ready before the midterms, but they decided to keep it and
Of course.
let the drama play out because the House wasn't relevant in the coming next 2 years.
Mhm. Well, I mean, the whole thing was a political act, dude. I mean, it's all politics. It had nothing to do with anything in reality. I mean, from the beginning of the situation, I've never understood well, I understand what they're doing, but it's preposterous. I mean, dude. I mean, the fact that as a businessman he's doing business in Russia, so what? As the president, he's talking to Putin. That's his job. There's literally the things they're accusing are not crimes. They're kind of things that you expect, actually. And this has been from the very beginning. This has been, the witch hunt is a proper word. It's a political endeavor to destroy the credibility of a president they don't agree with. And all along, the dude has just been successful and successful and successful. And now he's got his wall starting to build. And so he's already been building it all along, by the way. The media might not cover it, but he's been building that wall all along, and now he's going into high gear. He's going to accomplish the things he wanted to accomplish, and we'll see. He might well get reelected. But I mean, this kind of it just touches on the mentality of these people. We had last week, for instance, we had Hamas throwing a whole bunch of missiles into Tel Aviv, trying to destroy stuff. But of course, they have that Iron Dome thing, and they were able to protect themselves. But once again, Hamas trying to murder and destroy Jews. Did any media cover it ever anywhere? Anywhere? Missiles flying into a major city. No one covered it. Not one. Politics, anyone?
Yep.
We don't talk politics here. Just
No. Moving on.
that's why I'm not commenting.
Oh wow! Look, it's Mr. Idiot is back. I think we should have a show for him called the Mr. Idiot Show.
Former Star Wars author Chuck Wendig's attacked epic fantasies. Your world is too white and male and straight.
All right, you guys say what you want because I got a rant coming in.
And
Let me get the
I don't
popcorn.
I don't want to waste my breath. I mean, look, sir, have you seen your face? Oh wait, you're not as successful as the other writers. I'm sorry. I blame your talents for that. But carry on.
Go on, Chester. Do it.
Mr. Wendig. Now, I'm sure many of you know this, but I will just cover the bases here. The thing he's talking about the Lord of the Rings, of course, and something you need to understand, Mr. Wendig, is Lord of the Rings was written by an absolute genius, Mr. Tolkien. An actual dude who did something in his life worthwhile, who actually put time and effort, research, and actually became something of a, I don't know, a cultural icon. Simply seeing in the fact that his book, The Lord of the Rings, was voted the number one English book of the 20th century. Now, if we think about how many books are written in the 20th century compared to the rest of humanity's history itself, that tells you something. Now, beyond that, it comes with a little bit of research. You might come to understand, Mr. Wendig, that Tolkien was writing this because of the loss of Anglo-Saxon lore and culture, and he was trying to bring it back, right? Because what happened? There's a little moment in history. It happened about 1,000 years ago. It was called the Norman invasions, and when the Normans came in, they murdered everything. They took everything. They murdered all the Anglo-Saxon stuff and wiped it out and crushed it under their boot. That's why our language, anything that has any kind of importance or anything that would have been of the court, is in French, right? That's why you have words like pig and pork. These days we take pork to mean the meat and pig to mean the animal, but it didn't used to be that way, right? This important event wiped out the Anglo-Saxons. Now, to be fair, the Anglo-Saxons were an invasion unto themselves, right? But I'm not going to get into that. But what Tolkien was trying to do was to bring back Anglo-Saxon lore. Now, let me just take for 1 second here, real quick, and let me think about Anglo-Saxons, Germans. Oh, they're white people, you moron. Of course, it's white people because it's a white people story. He's trying to create a creation story for the Anglo-Saxons. Of course, it's white. God, you moron. And who cares about gay shit? No one cares about sexuality. That story has nothing to do with sexuality at all. It's a political movie talking about the movement of people trying to add history, and of course, they had World War II was tainting that completely. And you can't understand this simple thing. And how many people are going to come on and jump on your coattails and say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, Lord of the Rings is bad white peoples." God, you moron! I mean, how hard is that? Sorry.
Just to put some point of clarification, it's World War One, where he's talking about the loss of friendship, which is one of the reasons why he's also writing that and based some of the wars off of it. And the whole relationship between Frodo and Sam is between that British traditional manservant and officer. But
Sure.
moving on.
I'd
Yeah,
like to
yeah,
throw
but
a disclaimer up. The opinions expressed in this episode do not reflect a fan speak, but
yes, they
blah,
do.
blah,
They absolutely reflects fan speak 100%, because I mean it's straight up, right? This is what Tolkien's intention was. So of course it's about white people. It's like this idiots over at the BBC. They do Julius Caesar as a black dude, and then they do Achilles as a black dude as well. They have shows that are set in ancient British time, but they got every color of every race involved. Why would they be? If that's just the way you think, then go make me an African story about Shaka Zulu and make him white and put a bunch of white people in there. If that's the way you think, if that's what you think needs to be done, then do that. And of course, we know they won't do that. It's absolute nonsense. You have no clue what you're talking about, Wendig. You're a moron. You're a straight up moron. Go away. Go to bed. Go away.
this is just straight up racism.
It is racist from his point of view, and it's just more of this stupid white guilt crap, man. It's like, what are you guilty about, right? I mean, so what? We're sitting in a time right now that white people are the ones that have brought the world to where it is. So what? What's the big deal? What will the world look like 1,000 years from now, 2,000 years from now? Will it be the Asians, Arabs, Africans? Who knows? Right? Time moves. Cultures rise and fall like the waves of the ocean. It's just what it is. But they can't. They have this. I don't understand white guilt. I don't get it. What do you got to be guilty about? Be proud. Be proud. All these things we're sitting on today were brought to you by the white man. Commercial TM. Right? So what? What does that matter? We shared. I mean, if we kept it to ourselves, I can understand some anger. But we didn't. We shared it freely with the world. Everything. So what's the problem? Right? And it's this kind of mentality that is just toxically spread across the whole Western world. I sit over here in Japan, and the Japanese laugh at us, right? The Chinese too. They laugh at us for being such morons and allowing idiots to get up and flail around with any kind of significance whatsoever. They laugh at us because we're being idiots. This is the reality. Asia thinks the West are fools. Wonderful. Isn't that nice? See, we've come.
Well, Asia always thought of us as full, even from the very beginning.
Well, that's true, but more so.
So it hasn't changed. But we end up, somehow cleansing the idiocy from the society. I don't know, war, civil war, sickness. I don't know, acts of God. I don't know, and we end up, getting our head straight on and succeeding.
Yeah,
which
but
is why China and all the Asian people are copying us now. Just saying. Just saying.
yeah, it just it means nothing is my point that
Yeah.
I'm saying. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter who did what. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're telling a story and that story is a Celtic story, then of course it's going to have white people. If you're telling a story about Italy, it's going to have Latins in it, etc., etc. It is you're telling a story, especially one that is supposed to be, even though it's a fantasy, it is a historical setting, right? Is the point that he's trying to make in his books. And it's also simple fact of the matter, Chuck Wendig, you are not worthy to question J.R.R. Tolkien. You simply aren't worthy, dude. You have not earned that. And it comes down to opinion, right? Everyone is free to have one. But the thing that people misunderstand about opinions, you need to earn that shit. You have to go out and educate yourself and make you worthy of the opinion. And this guy is unworthy. But yet his voice
I mean,
keeps getting carried around, doesn't it?
yeah. I mean, because he did some Star Wars, he had that public fallout that they actually fired him, and for whatever reason, people still listen to him. Either more, like seeing a train crash and just watching the accident and just having that morbid fascination of what's happening next, or because they genuinely believe it. But um, this was really a virtual signaling because there was another, I think it was an Asian writer. I have to look at that, which was complaining about current fantasy writers have to fight with Tolkien and some other big name fantasy writers because they keep like two or three shelves in, and it's not fair and blah blah blah. And I'm like saying, well, because it sells. You know, if
Because
your
it's
work sells,
brilliant. That's why.
exactly, exactly. If your work is brilliant, it'll show up. Stop complaining and actually,
Hmm.
make a work that's worthy of
Yeah.
having that shelf space.
It's like J.K.
I don't,
Rowling, right? J.K. Rowling
yeah,
is a horrible, hateful, toxic human. But damn,
yeah,
she's a brilliant writer. Really, really
well,
good at what she does. Yeah. I mean, and it
well,
is what it is, right?
she's actively trying to destroy her
She is
legacy.
she is actively doing that. You're right, but
So
it doesn't take the talent away. Oscar Fair Tosspot says, Chester, do it in the Nick Recator voice. I wish I could do that. Would be funny. Night Pope says, start being so ethnocentric, Chester. I get the joke, but actually the point I'm trying to make is it doesn't matter what the race of the person who did it is. That's not the point is what I'm trying to say. It's just historical moments, right? And where we are sitting right now is what we have. 500 years, 1,000 years from now, who knows where the center of the planet will be? Maybe it'll be in Asia. Maybe it'll be in India. You think India is not going to have their moment in the sun again? I mean, for the fifth or sixth time, right? They certainly will. My whole point is the ethnicity means nothing. But if you are creating a story that is based in a certain area, a certain time, then you should be honest with the ethnicity that is going on. It doesn't matter, is my point. It doesn't matter. But for these people, if it's white, then it needs to be destroyed because they would never make this comment about anything else. It's always about the whiteness, right? And I know I'm going a little bit over on this a little bit long, but this is just a symptom of the ongoing sickness, right? That we are seeing all across the board. And it's it's a bunch of white people that are doing it, right? And that's what kills me. They're all full of this white guilt and this silliness. You know why? You know why we've gotten to this point? Because some idiot decided back in the Board of Education in America and other places that they were going to go into elementary schools and tell those children they were special. They lied to them. You are not special. You are most certainly not special. You know why? Because to become special takes a lot of work, a lot of hard work to be special. And going telling these children that, oh, you're special and wonderful is nonsense. It's toxic. Matter of fact, I consider that an evil act. To lie to little elementary school children and tell them that they're special without ever even trying to earn it, that is evil shit. That is evil, right? And that's where this is coming out of. And Mr. Chuck Wendig is part of that because honestly, that stuff started happening around when I was in high school. So it's been going on a long time. This is not new. But that's where he's coming from. That's where a lot of them are coming from is they think they're special and they didn't realize it because no one told them they had to earn it. And this is what has brought us to all this nonsense, the nonsense that's going on. They listen and believe. They don't ever research or do anything. How many times have we complained about these writers for comic books that don't bother to do the even the inkling of research to do their job? And it's because they are special. How dare you question their speciality? This toxicity that is going on needs to be addressed. Now, DeWolf's not here, and if he were here, he would take the light side because he likes to see the good in everybody. Me personally, I think shotguns need to be involved. But hey, it's good to have differing opinions, I guess.
That's how we diversify. We
Hmm.
don't stop anybody by having opinions, but we do ask them to back those opinions up with facts.
Yep.
So,
Let
and
me
if
see.
you,
Night Pope says, I think I'm going to go back to midterm. I still have to answer the question about ethnocentrism. Well, you can tell them that actually that would be called tribalism, and every single group on the planet does it. Hmm. Anyway, let's move on here before I have an aneurysm. Go ahead, Denelli.
yes, Chester, I'm the wolf here. Avengers Endgame, Rocket Raccoon foreign voice actors spoil huge plot point.
Oh
Somebody
no.
dies. Who dies? Captain America
Yeah,
or
we knew.
Thor or somebody. You know, it doesn't matter.
It's probably got to be Captain America. I mean, we kind of figured
Yeah,
that. I mean, you know,
because you can't have two captains if Captain Marvel's going to be the face of the MCU moving forward.
yeah. Well, no, I think it makes sense. I think we should lose a character. To be honest with you, the real ballsy move would be to kill Iron Man, actually. But I think it'll be Cap. What do you
You
think,
know, it might
George?
be a,
George?
Yeah, I'm trying to absorb all this, but yes, there has to be for stakes of this high, this magnitude, this level of commitment to story. Um, it makes sense to properly execute this story. There has to be a
Yeah,
death on the good guy side,
yeah.
or else the effort seems like Mary Sue.
Hmm. And I think Loki and Gamora are actually dead, and I hope they stay leave it that way. We know the rest of the ones who were from the finger snap will come back, but you know those two I think are already dead. But my question is, give us some speculation on who you think it will be, though.
I believe it would be Captain America. It
Yeah,
it would lead to a circular. It would lead to a proper closure in the first 10 years of the Marvel universe,
yeah,
because Captain America is the first Avenger, and he would be the last Avenger to hold the line.
yeah. You're right. But I have hope in my heart though that it'll be Tony Stark. Because that would be the cool ball. That would be the ballsy cool move, man. That would be the way to go. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
I would kill Tony Stark.
it would, but you also have to remember in the Marvel universe. Now that we know that the Fantastic Four is going to definitely be part of Phase Four because of the
or
Marvel deal,
Hmm.
there's something called the Shaper of Worlds.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
It, he will come. It will come in. They will reshape the Marvel universe, and then we will have different actors playing the same characters that we love, and it will give us another 10 years boost of awesomeness.
Yeah.
It, if they handle it right.
Mm. Well, we got some opinions here from the chat. Nick says, "Me personally, I think shotguns should be involved." Chester, 2019. Yeah, you should add the rest of the quote in there because that way it's funny. But anyway, Josh Hughes says, "I'm hoping that Captain America dies and maybe Iron Man too. Hey, you never know; they might take out a couple of them." Muskie Elon says, "I don't care about Endgame or Episode 9. They finally beat it out of me." Sorry to hear that, dude, but I understand you. I hear you. Mike Angerhauser says Iron Man, in my opinion. Yeah, I hope they go that direction. Nick W says Gamora will be back. You think? Yeah, I think they should leave her dead though. I think it tells the story better. I
No,
think.
because she's I think she's been confirmed for Guardian of the Galaxy 3.
Oh,
Yeah,
see
she is
now,
confirmed.
that's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
So
So,
spoilers.
well,
Yeah.
then we have to rethink it a little bit then, because what I was thinking was they were going to go back and use Captain Marvel moving through time with Captain America, Ant Man, etc. Black Widow, and they were going to be at the point and maybe have Thor's axe hit in the head instead of the chest. But now, if you're telling me Gamora's already been confirmed, now they have to go back and change the timeline somewhere earlier.
Right. Because she was part of the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 casting crew to, put that petition out.
Okay,
If you remember.
I got to throw this out because it's been killing me for a long time. You
All
do
right.
you do realize there is hints in the last Avengers movie that everyone will come back without any time travel. Yeah, well, real time travel. There's shenanigans that Doctor Strange did
Sure,
to the time stone,
sure.
and then if you look at the time stone's use before it was in Thanos' hands and after it's in Thanos' hands, the effect is completely different. So that means Strange put a specific spell in it. So everything that Thanos has done, all the snapping and all that stuff,
Hmm.
it probably they everyone's been whisked away into some sort of pocket dimension.
Maybe.
Or
And
or we could think about it like how it ended in Doctor Strange end of the movie when he's fighting Dormammu, where he has it in an infinity loop. So they're all just
mhm.
redoing the thing over and over again, and the quantum leap is actually going to help them to jump out of the loop to be able to do it. Just
And
saying.
another little hint. Now we could take this different ways, but you could look at the fact that the
Hmm.
gauntlet, in essence, failed. The gauntlet became destroyed and kind of fused on his hand. We could take that as an idea that maybe something had been done to the time jump because it wasn't working perfectly. Right? I mean, we could. You could take it different ways, but there could be a hint. That could be a hint, actually.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's the beauty of the Marvel universe. You can actually literally come up with so many theories
mm,
because you're able to plug and play all these concepts together, the
mhm.
powers, the storylines, and all that stuff. It literally becomes a walking, talking Dungeons and Dragons game in your everyday life without the board game, without the numbers and the stats and all that stuff. And everyday people can talk about this.
And they are very clever. They've done a really good job of thinking way ahead. They are thinking ahead, which is something that DC, as far as movie universe, seems to be failing at. But because they know what they're doing ahead of time, and they're putting all the things in place that they need. So we know that the Infinity War had tons of little things that are going to connect to this movie. We know it because they have planned it out. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I know some people are discouraged, and I get that. Joshua says I'm at least going to see Endgame. It's like the final chapter, but after Endgame, I won't be seeing it as many MCU movies in the theaters. Well, we'll have to see what comes. And Loki has a series. Yeah, but that could be a younger Loki.
Yeah, it's a
Mark.
prequel throughout the ages.
Yeah, March here says, yeah, same with me. I'm done. Hmm. Now talking to each other. Mike says, well, there is a Spidey sequel coming out. That's true. Well, we know he'll be. We know all the ones that became dust will be back. Roger Heller says it would be awesome if they turned Captain America into U.S. agent and then kill off War Machine. Maybe. Oscar for Tosspot says is not if nothing is sacred, how boring would that be? Would that be? Maybe is what he wanted to say. B. Admiral March Hare says RCU Nick W. What is he? John is same here. I'm done with MCU and doing and moving on to the RCU. What is the RCU, Nick? It's a good question. I don't know. Anyway, let me see here. We got anything else we got to do? Oh, this is just a this little thing right here is not a big deal. I'll just mention it real quick off of hand. They're talking about how Mortal Kombat 11 has basically made their women less sexy. They've taken away the sexiness. But this person here is putting in art. This is bounding in the comics, and this is George Arenas, and he's putting up a whole bunch of images here of showing how sexy the men are, and why is this okay? Now it's a I get the point, but it's kind of a useless one. The silly thing about it is, who plays these kind of fighting games? Men do. We don't see girls hardly any girls play these kind of games, dude. So if men want to have sexy bouncing digital boobies, give them the sexy bouncing digital boobies. Who cares, man? Men like females. Women like males. It's a normal thing. 97% of all humans agree. Yeah, nothing. Moving on. Indicron here. So keep in mind, of course, Indicron is a sponsor of this show, and there's a lot of good information here if you want to see what's upcoming or what's going on. As far as the Indiegogo revival, you can check it out here. It's a quick way to find the various books that are going on and go over to Indiegogo itself. That's a very useful tool. So if you're not using it, you should be. That is Indicron. And of course, keep in mind that we have several projects that are going on. You got Brad's Handyman is going on. You got George's Joe King, which is in demand right now. You also have Professor Geek's Tales from the Stacks. You have Tales from Beyond the Gate here, where several of us are involved with this, plus many other people across the community. You should definitely check those out. And what else? What else am I missing that's going on? We had Dinosaurs and Samurai in here yesterday. Go check that out. Ooh, they made some money. Sweet. Let's see. Got Wanpool, which is funny, that's coming out. Forsaken Gods. We talked to those guys. Hero, great kids book. Go check that out. Old Man
Yep.
Issue. We haven't seen that. The Abductibles. The
Did he mention
Menagerie.
Tales Beyond the Gates?
I did mention Tales from Beyond the Gates. Absolutely, I did. And that's
Yeah.
a big project. You guys should definitely go over and check out. We got Ravage, Kill All Men VIP pack. That's kind of neat to come back. Of course, that's Chuck Dixon, Benjamin Henderson, etc., etc. Eric Weathers. Here's the Tales from Beyond the Gate. Nice. Get us to that 10,000, guys. Please help us out. You got Eric's Inktober, which we had him on here to talk about that. We've talked to a lot of these people. Through the Woods, gorgeous looking book. Why is that not making more money? Of course, the fact that they want 20 grand, oof, that's a rough number to get to, especially in this situation we're in right now. But it's gorgeous book though. With Ferryman 2's out, Elemental Balance, Packens Land Omnibus from Gary Shipman. Oh, he's already made 4 grand. Good for you, Gary. Fishtown is out. Mike, of course, Mike Angerhouse has been on here chatting with us right now. There's his Black Forest. Sweet. Yeah, and there's a lot of, and of course we get into stuff that's already been finished. But go check these books out, man. It's a lot of good stuff. You see something you like, back it. Support the people. Support the creatives. But beyond that, well, I don't know. Is there something I have missed? Probably.
No,
And
I think you got everything. The upcoming shows will be Drawn and Quarter at 10 p.m. Eastern. We have Fan Speak tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we have Bunny Vision Movie Night. We're watching Blade 1 for that show, and then Tinfoil Hat at Sunday
yeah,
to round out
Tinfoil
the week.
TFT is going to be, of course, about Antarctica, so that should be fun. And keep in mind, guys, if you want to be on any of these shows, just contact me. My link's right down below. If you want to come on FanSpeak and talk with whoever we're interviewing, come on in. If you want to be on, want to sit and chat about a movie, we're watching Blade this week. If you want to come on and do commentary, come on in. If you want to come and talk about conspiracy theories, which are awesome fun, come on in, man. Just hit the link and tell me you want to be on, and I'll make it happen, dude. This is a community channel. It really is.
Yes, a
And
community powered channel.
yeah, absolutely. But anyway, of course, I'm going to get off here and I'm going to go set up because I do have a show in 50 minutes. Of course, we have the Joint Recorded Fan Edition, and this week we will be doing a reimagining of something. So don't miss out. Of course, the Drone Recorded Fan Edition is a lot of fun. We have some amazing art that goes on over there, and it's just an entertaining couple of hours to see some amazing art take place and have some fun along the way. And of course, we appreciate you guys and all the support you give us. Of course, if I offended anybody with any kind of rant, well. come on and tell me otherwise. How about that? Take us out, Danelle.
Well, all right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for Comics News today. We're always changing the system. Give us your feedback. Tell us what you want us to do or hear, and we'll try to see how we can arrange that. But as always, your perception shapes your reality, so always make it a good one.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Later, guys.
Later, everybody.